Hello everyone and welcome back to day 11 on this job site. Today's kind of a short one. We're going to get most of this front roof sheeted and we're going to start on the double return gable trusses. The day before we sheeted the whole back roof and installed all the cap set trusses, so here in the next day or two we're going to have this whole roof closed in. So since there's not much to cover today, let's get started. To get the day started, we're going to pop a 4-foot line off of the fascia so then we can start sheeting. This of course just makes sure that you're starting off with a straight first row. We have the line pinned on the far left side with a nail, and we have a coworker in the middle that will pinch and pop the line on both sides, because on big spans like this it could wave and wobble and it won't be directly straight. So we're going to get this first sheet nailed on the line and then go from there. Does it look like it's on the line over there?
Yeah.
I'm currently on the front porch roof and we're right below the dormer window that we built the other day. And of course it's the normal 2-foot on center layout for these trusses. These aren't going to really move anyway, honestly. Place you some helper nails if you don't want to stress about dropping the sheet.
Put a small block there to slide it. Or free time move us. Free time move us. Who gives a fuck about jersey? Oh shit. Close one.
These temporary blocks help when you set the trusses, but they're just a nuisance after that. What'd you say, street rat?
What'd you pull?
This sheet we have to rip down a little bit because the overhang changes once you hit the garage, so you'll see how that goes. That little overhang will just return back into the garage as a little bird box type deal. Since we changed the rip size a little bit on the left, we got to continue that rip all the way through.
Wait. Fucking lowered my hammered it.
So the plan for this front roof was not to get it fully sheeted, but to stagger step the sheets up to the peak, so then we have enough room to start installing the return gable trusses. And then after we get that all continued, we could finish fully sheeting the roof. So I'm just preemptively knocking all these blocks so they don't get in the way in the near future. And this is just that last endo piece for the first row. With that, we're going to start putting in our plywood clips and then start moving up from there.
Wow. Where's my butt?
And we always leave the glass gable rafter unnailed until we straighten the fly at the end.
Got a lined up. Yep.
That 2x4 at the bottom of the roof, that's where we're going to put the outside return gable truss. I think this cord broke a little bit, so we had an extra 2x4 nailed to the side of it just to give it some extra strength. Right here, I'm just measuring out where on top of this garage where we're going to place our first gable truss.
You want? I like it. Yeah, I love them. Yeah, good one. Yeah, they're the most realistic. Come on, watch. First one. No. Yeah. Okay, now fuck you. Fuck you, Batman. Hey, Kobe, anyone else people there have no house? Fine, Paul, too, please. Hey, I'll have my Gabriel, too. Oh, no, man. I can fuck with us. Yeah. Yeah, here's. Really, I can go.
Another reason why I want to fucking animal in my life. Yeah, I'm like keeping on my shit all the time. Yeah. That's bullshit. Oh my god. Yeah, shit. Not gonna they have like there's an organization that will fix messed up currency, or at least if you send them like all the pieces, they'll realize that full currency and they'll replace it for you. Yeah, if you give them enough of the details and the pieces and shit, they'll like replace it, or yeah, so if you actually have like damaged money, you turn it in. Holy shit. I know, pizza and some beer. Pizza on a mixer or something. Sounds perfect. Pizza and some alcohol mixer. Sounds perfect. Yeah, vodka cranberry. That's what I know.
I still think one of my favorite, like, figuring out actors, still gotta be the default, Save Private Ryan.
Well, fuck. What was that movie where like one of those famous actors ran like 2 seconds at the beginning and got killed? Semi newer than the new, past like 7, 10 years or something. I forget. Yeah. I forget what it is. I think it's like some horror movie or something. And we're like, whoa, this guy's in it? What the fuck? And he's like a small role, gets killed really quick. I'm like, oh, damn, dude. I don't know. Yeah. One of my favorite appearances that you don't really know is Jared Leto in Panic Room. When he's one of the thieves robbers. Yeah. You can't tell he's like fucking like cornrows and shit. And like he's like an asshole robber. And I don't think he was that big back then. Well, I think he already for a dream, but he's pretty good. Yeah, I never watched it or seen anything about it. No. Oh, you watched it? Was it shitty? Yeah. I don't really know much about that hero or anything. His reputation started going downhill when they made him the Joker. Because people still liked him at that point. But then once they got him as the Joker, they're like, oh, come on, man. He's just not a good Joker. They're like, this is not going to work out well. Huh? Yeah.
He's the Joker in the show?
Yeah, I think he was in there for a long time. Like, that's old, like, kind of old show. Not super old. I remember Jordan watching Gotham. Back when I was around him quite a bit. So, yeah, I heard he did pretty good at my hair guy. What? Called it? Yeah, I watched the show with the hands. It was good. Oh, too. Thanks, that guy. I apologize if there's not a lot of commentary on these parts. The sheeting is pretty straightforward, so unless something weird happens, there's not really much to comment on. What? Take it off. Oh, really? I only have that new movie that I watched. It's like a TV series or something. I started watching it every 20 months. Sorry or something. Have you watched Resident Evil? It's really good. Like a show. Yeah. 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 Really? Yeah, right there. Yeah, come. Like you were showing shit? Yeah, oh, right there. That's like a person on one side out, and every other show, but I'm not out and shit. I like the show. It's underrated gem. Yeah. I never really talk about it. What else Gable? Season 1? That's good. That's watch off. Go ahead, one more. What? Oh. Really? Yeah. Yeah, but I went one year out, you know. Please. Yes, you We just need to get this last plywood rip on, and then we could get started on the trusses again. Yeah. Yeah. Squiggles and shit. In the back, all the sheets were fitting good until we got to the rips, and they really didn't want to go in the clips. It was bullshit. And here we are with the first garage gable truss. We have a couple 2x4s nailed to the garage header sticking straight up, so the plan is to stick this truss in between those and the 2x4 we have nailed down already. Whoa. It's supposed to like butt into that 2x4. My God.
Line that seam up with center.
What seam?
Bottom cord. Bottom cord has a seam in it. You can't see it from the inside.
No.
Oh, there's a center of that. Where those split?
It's like right there.
Now we're gonna tighten it down.
Yeah. Try pop one.
I guess.
We get it set where it needs to go, then we can start nailing it to that backer board. Yeah. Can't see from the inside, but I'm kind of marking the plate too. It's right there. We use the impulse guns a lot when we don't want to use the hose guns. Drop a comment and let me know what kind of cordless guns you guys use. Now we have the second larger gable truss. This one will return all the way back into the garage, whereas the first one will just return back into this truss. Full triangle trusses like this are kind of hard to set on a slanted roof. You have to find out where it goes first before you could get it stabilized, so we have to kind of get it in place before we could start putting more backer boards. How we start off with that spacing is we got a couple blocks nailed to that first truss. That's the appropriate distance between that and the other gable truss, so we start from there and then get it going. Yeah, it's like not fully down. I have to step on it.
It's still on our mark pretty good too. Kind of fucking Chris's side though too.
His looks raised up too.
Yeah. I don't know if it's straight or if it's just the end is kicking.
His end is way longer, so it looks like it is pulling out. When they give you these truss formations, they don't always tell you exactly how to install it and where each one goes exactly, so we just have to do it by eye and ear and go from there. But once you get one or two of these set, you could kind of see where it's going to be going, so you just adjust accordingly from there. So for reference, we got to get the right distance between these trusses. Then we also got to make sure this truss is on the correct spot from left to right, so then the peak will go where it needs to go, directly on top of the garage.
From here to there as well, just to keep it more in line. Now, see that 2x4 has to go on the back side. Because that plywood, that's going to be shingles going up to that plywood at Gable.
The hole right there is what we call an access hole. This will all be sheeted and plywooded off, so eventually they have that so then they could get up there if they want to mess with the window or whatever else you want to do inside of this attic.
That stairway over there, fuck, this is really broke in, fucking insane. Why we got half balance?
So once you get the truss where it needs to go, I'll lay this 2x4 down, we'll get this nailed to the rafters, and then we'll nail the truss to that 2x4 to give it some permanent stability. So since we set the two main gable trusses, we're going to get this leveled, and then we're going to brace it off through the attic access hole.
Hey, we're gonna take a break.
Pass this front gable, it's gonna be like plywood and shit, so. What we're doing here is we have a dry line. We have it nailed to the peak of the first trusses. We get that eyeballed straight back into the garage roof. And from there we could pop lines on the sides for the valleys, or where the other trusses will start and end. So this is the first valley line we're popping. I just go to the end of the point on my truss, and he's gonna put it right next to the line where we eyeballed it to. Then the trusses going up will get smaller and smaller and follow along that line. So that's the only trusses that we set for today. To finish out the day, we're going to just get as much roof sheeting as we can on this front. So since we need to sheet directly into this dormer, what we're doing is we're popping a line here. We're going to nail a 2x4 on this line, so then we can have something to nail the plywood to. But before that, we want to make sure this dormer girder is plumb and level. because when we sheet up next to it and then nail it on that nailer, it won't be able to move anymore after that. So as you see, we have that 2x4 nailed directly to the dormer wall, which will act as a false rafter or truss. And we got to continue that 2x4 nailer all the way up until it meets the other matching roof.
Next team, go. 56. Like 7 quarters. Yeah, that's nice. So.
So this piece of plywood right here is notched because the pitch on the main roof changes right above the dormer, so you'll see how that comes together as well. Can you give me the exact measurement from that peak just so I can keep it? Whoa. That's me at 25 1/4. So that about wraps it up for day 11 on this job site. We're just going to get a few more sheets on before we call it a day. I believe our next working day is a Saturday, so I only think we worked about 4 hours for the next video, but we completely finished up that left dormer and then try to close up as much of the house as we can. We only have about 6 more days left before we actually finish both of these houses, so make sure you subscribe if you want to watch us finish these houses completely. And please leave a comment if you have any criticisms, tips, or feedback regarding my video or my work. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about the houses that we're building. So yeah, thank you for everyone who has been watching. This has been Old Dirty Carpenter, and I'll see you on the next working day.